Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? NES Roller, welcome to a brand new video review, and this time I'll be checking out a Dutch film presented by IFC, and that is a film titled The Salvation. Now you're probably wondering, why the heck am I reviewing a Western? Don't I usually review horror films? And I usually think to myself, why was I watching this film also? Because, I really don't review anything or watch anything besides horror films, but a few years ago, during my first year in film school, my first semester, I really wasn't watching any Westerns whatsoever. I wasn't really interested in the genre. I really haven't watched Westerns growing up. And I know from talking to a lot of people in film school, a lot of them grew up watching Westerns, and that's what kind of inspired them to grow up and to go to film school and things like that. So I figured to myself, I should probably start watching some more Westerns, and luckily there was a class during my first semester that was mainly focused on Westerns only. So I was able to take that class and get a brand new appreciation for the genre, because I've never really watched any films before. And sure, the class showed the classics, the John Fords, but they also, it also dug into some of the, some of the more low budget directors that were actually really good, Anthony Mann and Bud Boddicker and things like that. So as the semester went on, this was two years ago now, I finally came to appreciation of liking Westerns more and more. And so I started picking up some more Westerns and things like that. Started watching Have Gun Will Travel, which is a really interesting TV show that was on CBS in the late 50s, early 60s. Don't hold me on that date, but I'm pretty sure that's when it showed. And so I started watching more and more Westerns and things like that. And if you listen to me on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, you'll know that reason I enjoy writing about the horror genre is because I'm really fascinated with the gender roles that occur in horror films, mainly between males and females. And I've written a whole bunch of papers in school on horror gender roles and things like that. So the Western genre is very similar to the horror genre with the way gender roles are played out. And I think that's another reason, as I found out watching these Westerns, why I should start to be watching more of these, because they're very similar. And it's unfortunate because the Western genre as a whole has kind of just died out, and it's a thing of the past, just like musicals in my opinion. It's a thing of the past that I don't think it's ever going to reach the golden age of the late 50s, 60s, and 70s anymore. And you only see a new Western come out every few years, which is unfortunate, because I think I still think there's a market for them, even though that they're not mainstream anymore, which is unfortunate. So when I heard that IFC was releasing this film titled The Salvation, I was pretty interested to check it out, mainly because of the fact that it was a brand new Western, and I've heard through people that know movies that it was actually pretty good, and I know it premiered at Cannes and things like that. So I was interested to check it out. And so like I said in the beginning, it's a Dutch film. We follow Mads Mikkelsen's character, if I pronounced that right. He's from Hannibal, and he did a film a few years ago called The East, which I'm pretty sure won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film. So we follow his character. He's an immigrant who comes to America in the 1870s, and he builds enough wealth up to bring his wife and kid over, who still live overseas. And so he finally brings them over, and he is taking a carriage ride with him and his wife and his son and two gang members, if you want to say. And during this ride, the gang members go a little bit ballistic because they get drunk, and they end up killing the son and raping his wife and killing his wife. And so we see him out seeking revenge for his wife and his kid's death. And the people who got killed were part of this huge gang, and the main leader now is pissed off, and he's trying to find Mads Mikkelsen's character, and Mads Mikkelsen's trying to kill this guy. This is a back and forth typical Western narrative, and it's actually pretty good, I have to say. Some of the shots are really fantastic. There's a whole bunch of widescreen shots that are very reminiscent to John Ford films, and you can obviously see that, of course, John Ford was influential in making this film. The landscape shots are really, really nice and really, really good, especially during the nighttime. They just feel dark and gritty and dirty, and I really, really enjoyed the nighttime scenes in this film out of all the other scenes in the film, just because it added a sort of level of darkness to Mads Mikkelsen's character that, you really feel for this guy who, pretty much lost everything in his life, and now he's just trying to seek revenge for his wife and his kid. And he does a really good job in this film. He's really, really good. His acting is really on point. I never think it's really over the top or anything like that. He really doesn't speak very often, which is understandable, but his actions and his facial expressions and things like that, I think, really, really carry his character along in a really interesting and good way. The film really doesn't do anything inventive or anything amazing, so I can't say it's a really fantastic Western, to be completely honest, but it's a really, really great Western. I think it follows a typical storyline that's really, really good, and the ending climax, the ending battle between the protagonist and the antagonist is really, really well done. There's this really fantastic shot at the end where Mads Mikkelsen's character is under this house, and it's a tracking bird view shot as he's crawling through this house, and the camera leads out from under this building to the landscape, and it's really, really nice, and it's really, really a beautiful shot, and that's the one shot that really stood out in my mind throughout this entire film. And I think if you have at least one memorable shot, then you have at least a semi-decent movie, in my opinion. The Avengers and things like that, those films really don't have anything really memorable in them, so I'm not a huge fan of them, but at least this film has at least one of those shots that are memorable, and I really enjoyed it. The ending battle, like I said, was good. Practical effects, got to give them that. Real guns and everything like that. So at least they didn't, sell out and use CGI. They actually used real blood, real guns and everything like that. So they did everything right in this to make it at least feel like a Western that could be made in the 50s and 60s. The content is a little bit modern for today. I don't think you would actually see that kind of storyline be made in the 50s, 60s, or maybe going in the 70s you would start to see that a little more, but definitely not the 50s and 60s. But it feels modern, but it's not modern, if that makes sense. So I had to give them some kind of props that they were able to keep the same kind of style in the modern day. So if you guys get the chance to pick out The Salvation, I think you guys should give it a watch. I think it's a pretty decent Western, to be completely honest. Like I said, it's not the best Western, but it has some memorable things in it. Particularly the cinematography is really, really well done. And the storyline is pretty solid also. Just these two people trying to hunt each other down, and the battles that go in between them. It's really, really good. So I gave this one a 7 out of 10. If you guys get a chance to pick it up, I think you guys should give it a watch. It's pretty good. So that should do it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's not horror, but it's a film that I was really interested in checking out and watching, and I'm happy that I was able to watch it because I really enjoyed it. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. I'll talk to you guys soon in a few days with another review. I have a boatload of movies coming, so I hope you guys enjoyed these reviews coming up. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. See you guys.